Hi guys, welcome to Code Patcher, and today I will discuss about Eloquent model. So Eloquent is the ORM in Laravel that facilitates the user to do the database query using the models. So Eloquent related to the Laravel model, and every model related to the DB tables in your application. Okay, like uh, when you freshly install your Laravel setup. Okay, then you have a user.php. This is the Eloquent model for the users table. Okay, so we can query the users table using this model, and this eloquent model also facilitates the developer to create the relationship with the other models and query in standard way, and it provides a lots of methods. So and basically it's a query builder layering. So whatever you can use the function and methods on the query builder, you can use here with the eloquent model also. So if you haven't checked out my video on query builder, then you can check out that also. I will leave the link in the description box. Okay, so let's begin with the, if we want to create a new model and relate the table. So do you how do we relate that? So let's begin with the there is a command, artisan command, php artisan. Okay, make model, the make command for the model, and then you pass the model name. So let's say book. Okay, so every model name, the singular name, will relate to the plural name of the table. So I want to relate it with the books table. Okay, so I don't have right now books table either. So you can also give the m flag to create the migration for the books table. Okay, so I have already made the video on the migration, so you can also check out that. So let's enter now, and you can see the model created successfully and created migration this. So if we open this migration file, you can see the template for the books table. Here the first argument is the books. Okay, and the down statement also. By default, when you create a migration for the create table, it will give you the id key, okay, which will be the primary key of your table, and the timestamps. So timestamps will be created and updated at columns. Okay, you can change that also. So let's add the uh, one field in that, the table. Let's say char. Okay, and name it title, and give the length 100. Okay, like this. And this command which we have run earlier also created the model file also. If you refresh here the directory structure, you can see the empty model for the book. Okay, So let's create the table first and run the migration quickly. So php artisan migrate. So if we check our database, show tables, we have a books table also, and if we describe it, it has the title field which we have created, and id and timestamp fields are the by default using this timestamps and id. Okay. So in this model, right now we don't have anything, but there are several configuration you can do here. Okay. So right now this book model related to books table. Okay. Suppose our table is different. Okay. So not a plural form of the model class name. So you can mention here also using the protected table property like this. Okay, so let's say new book. Now it is related to the table new book, not the book. So if we query this, so let's query this using the eloquent model on the web.php, the root file of your application. You can check out my routing video also on Laravel. So here app book all. The all command give you all the result of the model. Okay. And in the books, let's die dump like this. Okay. So let's run it. Base table of view not found. Okay. Laravel 2 book, new book doesn't exist because we have given the table property in the model. Now let's comment it out, yeah, or change it to the books. If you comment it out, it runs. Because we don't have any record right now, so it returned the empty record. Okay. Also, if there is a naming convention also for the model. If we have a two word in a model, like uh, like have a person address like this. Okay. So in like we have a table person addresses like this, then we will have the snake form then. So snake form, every word, every first letter of the word will be in capital form. So in this case, this will be like this. Okay, and it will be a singular form. So just keep it in mind in the when creating the model. Okay, then it will automatically relate to your tables. Otherwise, you have to give the table property like here I'm mentioning. Okay. So follow the convention. So don't. So then don't write the uh, code, custom code for that. Okay. Likewise, you can see when you create a table using the migration, Laravel migration, it gives you the ID uh, method, okay, which will become in terms of primary key. Okay, if you don't want the primary key as ID, and or you have already a table and create a model for that, then you can mention here the your primary key as well. So like we did for the table name, you can define the protected primary key property here also. Okay, and gives your primary key column here. So there are uh, other attributes for the primary key also, like if your primary key is not auto incrementing, okay, then you can define like your primary key is a mix of alphanumeric, then it can't be a auto incrementing, then you need to define here like there is a property incrementing, okay, and this would be true and false. This takes it takes a true and false value, true or false, like at a time, true or false. Okay, and then we have to also mention that key type. Okay, and mention here the string. So you can customize your primary key as well using these features. And now come on to the timestamps. So these fields created and updated at is created during the table creation using this timestamps method. Okay, so you if you don't want to use these field, okay, by default, so there is also the configuration for that. So for these fields, and if you don't want to store the timestamps when you create and update the row, so there is a property as well. So there is a public property timestamp, okay, and it takes the boolean value true. By default it's true, you can make it the false. Okay, so when you insert the any row in this, so let's insert in the web.php. There is a create command to do the insertion. Okay, and we have a title here, just once. And now if we let's assign it to the also, so we will know whether it has run successfully or not. And if we run it, if we refresh it, fillable property. Okay, so when you use the create command or update command, okay, So there is a fillable property in the model as well, which decides that which field will be used in the creation of this model. Okay, some field you might not take from the user and insert internally, like a token of something. So in this case, you have there is a property you must define here. Okay, so protected. There is a label, and it is an array. It is an array, and let's define our title fields because we are giving here the title field. And if we refresh here, okay, so I think it is created successfully. So let's query the books table. Yes. So you can see here the created and updated at column are null because we have modified the timestamps to false. So if we do the true and refresh now, then you can see here now we have a timestamps. Okay, so you can control the timestamps values this. And the other thing, if you have a different column name for the timestamps, you can change the constant. You have to configure the constant for that, like created at. Okay, then you can custom created at. Okay, so likewise the constant for the updated at you can configure here, like this custom. Okay, so you can customize the call timestamps column as well. The other option, if you have a multiple if you are using the multiple database, sometimes you have to use the multiple database. In this case your model can be can be connected to the different tables of the different database, and you can, in that case, you can define the connection in this model. Okay, so by default, if you don't mention the connection property here, so it uses the default connection. But if you define the protected connection property, and then it will use this connection when you querying. Okay, some connection name when you querying or inserting or updating the data. Okay, so this is also very useful property, you can say. I'm mentioning here the some of the very uh, can say frequent use property. Okay, not all of them. So like a fillable, we have also the property guarded. Okay, so it is also the array, and some fields you want to guard from the insertion, then you can mention here. Like if you have some token field, or password field like users table, and you don't want to take from the users, and you want to generate internally and then provide that password to the user through mail, then you can guard that field here. Okay. So likewise, so there are so many attributes other you can mention, you can refer to the Laravel documentation as well. But these are the very frequent used property I have mentioning. So these are the model, and my next video will be how to query model and fetch the result with the different functions. Okay. So thank you for the watching this video.